Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm pleased to present our paper, published in ICDCN 2018. And our paper's title is Exploiting Multiple Side Channel for Secret Key Agreement in Wireless Network. My name is Hailen Tan, and there are two other authors for this paper. One is Dit Oshie from Data 61, and the other is Professor Sanjay Jha from the School of CSC at UNSW. So here is the outline of my talk today. First, I will give the introduction to our work and the motivation. Then I will highlight our contribution comes with the design implementation of our key agreement protocol. Then I will give the security analysis of our work, and then comes with the performance evaluation of our scheme, particularly on the key error rate. And then I will conclude our work. So the key agreement protocol is a very important problem in the wireless network. So in the recent years, most of the research on the key agreement protocol based on the reciprocal channel. So by reciprocal channel, it means that the sender and the receiver, both sides, will take advantage of the common feature of the channel. They communicate with each other so that they can extract those common feature and then generate the shared secret based on them. This method is very suitable for wireless network due to the wireless channel is more common in the contemporary world. However, it has its own limitation of this type of key agreement protocol. The first thing is that it has a low bit generation rate. Usually, they will generate 1 bit per second. So given the AES 128 bit key, it will take more than 2 minutes to generate the key, which is not that acceptable in the current communication standard. Second limitation is it incurs significant communication overhead. In order to extract those common characteristics from the reciprocal channel, both communication party have to exchange a number of probing packets to extract those features. So it incurs a very significant communication overhead, and no one can even predict the upper bound of that overhead for this protocol. So it's not that suitable in the practical scenario. The third limitation is the inconsistency of wireless fading channel. Because as we know, the wireless channel is not as reliable as the wired one. So given the environment changes, the reciprocal channel characteristic will change from time to time. So is for the key agreement protocol based on them. And it brings a lot of unreliability for this key agreement protocol based on those features. So in order to overcome the set limitation above, we propose another research direction for the wireless network to establish a shared secret, which is the side channel. In the next slide, I will give an explanation about what side channel is. So as you can see in this slide, we assume that Alex and Bob try to communicate with each other. So they will have the main channel to exchange the data packet. So in order for the third party, Trudy, not to see what they try to communicate, Alex and Bob would try to encrypt users to create a share key and then encrypt the plain text into cipher text, and then for Bob to decrypt those cipher text and get the message sent from Alex. However, this is what the main channel will work. However, during the encryption process and the transmission process and the decryption process, all these three phases, they will have some side effect that will generate some physical phenomenon that can be interceptable by the Trudy to analyze what type of key is used and what type of plain text will be encrypted, like what type of plain text behind this cipher text is communicated, and what type of decryption key will be used in the Bob side. So that is called, compared to the main channel, that is called the side channel, which means that it carries some sensitive information that is very hard to detect and very hard to notice by Alex and Bob. However, they are very valuable to the third unauthorized party, Trudy, to get the information. So in our work, we we try to set up this key used by Alex and Bob in this diagram using this side channel instead of the main channel, like what has been done in the previous research. So as I have highlighted the motivation why we need to do the work is to overcome the limitation of the current key agreement protocol in wireless network, and then we propose a new concept to use for the key agreement called side channel, and then it comes to the related work that has been done in the past. So one of the important related work to our work is called the shader up. Basically, the shader up is the author attempt to use one side channel to exchange the shared secret bit by exchange the source destination pair in each packet. However, such protocol is subject to the spatial traffic analysis. The attacker, Trudy, it will try to monitor the packet exchange between Alex and Bob, and then according to their physical distance to Alex and Bob, and to analyze which packet has exchanged the source destination pair and which one has not, so that to guess which bit is 1 and which bit is 0. I will mention this in detail later in the security analysis session. So here comes to our first session called the assumption and our contribution. So basically the assumption is that in our scenario, we only consider the one hop scenario, which means we try to tackle the very primitive key agreement protocol between Alex and Bob, just one hop. We are going to apply this in the multi-hop, but that will be part of our future work. And the second assumption is that we assume the attacker wishes to retrieve the secret agreed between Alex and Bob without being noticed. So in our work, we don't consider any other explicit active attack like jamming attack or denial of service, because those attacks will expose attackers' existence. So our contribution is that we use, instead of using one side channel, we use multiple side channel to generate the secret bit. So it's much more secure than the shader up in the earlier work, which used only one side channel. So it's more difficult to crack. And also, one important thing compared to the key agreement using a reciprocal channel is that you use the big O(n) packet to establish n bits key, so it's linear. And also, it is independent to the channel characteristic. Here comes to our design and implementation of our key agreement protocol. So basically, as I have mentioned before, we are going to use two side channels in our design to generate the shared secret. One of the side channel is called the source destination pair information. The other side channel is called the power level variation, which I will use Alex and Bob as the example in the coming few more slides. So as you can see here, Alex and Bob try to communicate with each other. So if Alex wants to establish a shared secret bit with Bob as, for example, 1, then he will think this is a truth, and then based on truth, and then he will set up a packet, make the source of the packet as Alex and destination as Bob, and then send this packet from Alex to Bob. And once Bob receives that, and because Bob is the receiver and he checked the source destination information of the packet, it matched with the actual behavior. So he will know that Alex tried to send this shared secret bit as 1 to him. Okay, that's how the Alex established a shared secret bit in the SD information as 1, value 1. So what if Alex want to share the secret bit as 0 with Bob? What happened is that first Alex will think this would be a lie as bit 0. Then he will set up the packet information that had the source would set up as Bob and destination set up as Alex. So in this case, and then send this packet to Bob. Once Bob received that packet, he checked the packet header information. He will see that the source and the destination doesn't match with what he received, because Bob as the receiver and see the destination as Alex. So he will know that this is a lie from Alex, so he will know Alex wish to establish a secret bit as 0. That's how as source and destination side channel exchange the secret bit by just swapping the source and destination address. So here comes the second side channel level, called the power level variation. So if Alex wish to exchange share secret bit as 1, then he will try to increase the power level compared to the previous packet. Okay, and then increase the power, send this packet to Bob. On the Bob side, he will measure the RSSI of this received packet. If he see the power level did increase compared to the previous packet, then Bob will know that Alex tried to send the secret bit 1. So on the other hand, if Alex wish to send the share secret bit 0, then what happens is that he will decrease the power level for the last packet and then send this packet in a decreased power. So when Bob receives it, he compare the RSSI of this received packet with the previous packet, and then if they remain static, then the the RSSI will become smaller. So it will know that what Alex tried to share is the share secret bit 0. Then by doing this multiple times, then he will generate multiple share secret bit between Alex and Bob. So there's another side channel. So so in our work, we combine those two side channel behavior into one. So the actual share bit will be the SD share bit XOR with the power level variation bit. So Alex, like for example, Alex will combine a lie, which means the SD bit will be 0, and then increase power, which means the power level variation bit will be 1, and then send this packet with that information in the packet handler with the power change pattern as that, and then Bob will receive this packet and interpret this packet as 0 and 1 as Alex. Then both parties will do the XOR on their own side and then get the first secret bit as 1. So as we can see that all the bits calculate based on the information shared in those two side channels. So Alex and Bob can only need to exchange big O(n) packet to agree on n bits. So a final key, of course, will be established based on this agreement. They cannot be exactly the same. Like for example, the final key can be the hash result of those share secret bits. So here is the diagram we cited from our paper. So basically, there is a more complete sequence diagram of the entire key agreement process. So Alex and Bob will have first exchange the packet, indicate the star as the payload, and both of the party will record the default power level for reference later. Then Alex will try to establish the share bit and then establish this packet accordingly, hide those information in those two side channels. When Bob get that, then you monitor those two side channels and retrieve the bit, and then do the acknowledgement to Alex. So this will be one cycle for 1 bit, and for establish n bits secret, they just need to run n cycle of this process until get to the end and send the n exchange the n message, and then reset the power level. So here is our protocol. Then it comes to the session about the security analysis. So in the security analysis, first is the traffic analysis. And as the third party Eva, he will try to capture all the packet exchange between Alex and Bob, and using the spatial traffic analysis to analyze whether the packet header setting is correct. Because if Eva is closer than Alex, then he receive if that packet is actually from Alex, then his RSSI will be stronger than that from the Bob. So if it's like, for example, here, if we receive the second packet with the false header information, but the RSSI becomes smaller, then it will know this could be false. However, in order to defend against this spatial traffic analysis, Alex and Bob cannot be fixed as a sender and receiver. They cannot exchange the role of sender receiver. So it's not always like Alex sending the packet to Bob. Bob can also send the packet to Alex. So So also EVA's, it also depends on EVA's location and the relation distance to Alex and Bob. So it's not that easy for EVA to actually guess the header information. So it's for the power level, because those distance can offset the power level variation as well. So the second type of traffic analysis is called the temporal traffic analysis. So basically what happened is that as we can see before, Alex is always the sender and Bob is always the receiver. So the attacker will know that for every odd number of transmission, it will always from Alex, and every even number of transmission is always from Bob. It's based on the transmission pattern without being changed. So in order to defend against such temporal traffic analysis, Alex Bob can randomize the sender receiver role in sequence. Like, for example, in the first one, probably Alex will initialize the bit establishment as a sender, and the last one, Bob can be the sender to initialize the establishment. So in that case, the pattern, the transmission pattern, the odd numbers of transmission is always from Alex, and even number of transmission from Bob won't hold. So by randomize this sender and receiver role, the attacker is not able to guess who is the actual sender and who is the actual receiver. And the third type of attack is called the man-in-middle attack. So in this attack, EVA participate in a more active way. When Alex and Bob exchange those secret bits, EVA will try to mimic either Alex or Bob to send the packet to both of the party. However, in this case, Alex or Bob, it will receive two repeated packets on the same side. Then it will detect the poison attack from the EVA in the middle. So they will go back to the Alex detect poison and then notify Bob, and then they will try to probably change to the other page to avoid EVA, or they can reset the process. Okay, here comes the performance evaluation. So in our experimental setting, I used the least powerful embedded device called the MegaC. That is the 10 years ago's model. That it has the least powerful, like 8-bit microcontroller, 2.4 gigahertz in the frequency band, and 250 kilobit bits per second. Here is the transmission level setting in our work. We take up multiple distinctive transmission level, and then we call the power output of and the signal to noise ratio. So here is as in our scheme, we kind of expected there will be a stabilization time, so that both Alex and Bob, before they actually officially exchange those packets, they will try to probing the channel condition, and then so that they can use the channel characteristic to authenticate themselves, so that Bob will know this packet is actually from Alex instead of from someone else. So they will use those we will use the existing fingerprint technique here to identify the sender and receiver's identity. So there will be in our experiment, it takes 50 seconds as stabilization time. Okay, one of the key metric in our scheme is the key error rate. So for the source and destination pair, because Alex and Bob would actually quite precise know whether I have actually sent out this packet or not. So for the SD information side channel, there won't be any error. However, for the power level variation, there will be. I mean, the sender increasing the power doesn't mean the ISSI will increase from the receiver side. So in order to evaluate the error rate of this side channel, we take the measurement from the MegaC nodes, 2 MegaC node, and then measure 5,000 packets, and then to compute how many packets ISSI doesn't match with the power level variation, and then calculate the percentage of those packets, so that we will know the error rate based on those side channels. So as you can see that if the closer they are, the key error rate is lower, and then if they are not in static scenario, if they are moving, means that the distance will be also a significant impact factor on the ISSI, so it will significantly affect the key error rate as well. I mean, those comparison detail, the English reader can refer to our paper. So here comes the conclusion, which means that a key agreement protocol based on multiple side channel was proposed, and implementation on the embedded single computer in value of this key agreement protocol in terms of key error rate and stabilization time. If you have any question, you're welcome to send me the email.